Jerry Taft, realtor and part of Team Taft with eXp Realty, and let's talk about some real estate stats for the Invermere and Columbia Valley area. So these stats are until the end of March 2026, so we're kind of looking at the first quarter of the year. And so in March of this year, we had 39 sales compared to 48 sales the year before. So that is down 18.75%, which doesn't sound great. And year to date, January to the end of March for that first quarter, we have 83 sales this year compared to 115 for the year before. So that's down almost 27.83, almost 28% down. However, when we looked back last month and looked at the 3 months prior, so that included December, January, February, 41%. So one could argue that things are improving even if the numbers are not great. March, things kind of leveled off and the listings were very similar to the same time last year. So we're starting to see that inventory grow a bit, which might help us with sales going forward. And so into early April now, we've seen an uptick of those new listings. So we now have 354 active listings, and that's up a fair bit. At the end of March, we were only at 337 active listings for the whole valley. So we're definitely starting to see those new listings coming up. An interesting stat to watch going forward is going to be days on market, is how long is it taking for things to sell. So far this year, we're looking at 13 as the average days on market compared to 97 for the same period last year. So that's an increase of 16%. And we are seeing that things are taking longer to sell, that a lot of buyers are not necessarily feeling the urgency. So they're taking their time to consider properties and then having longer condition periods to do things like inspection and get financing approved. So not all stats really tell you a true story. And the big one is on average sale price. So I usually just ignore this because we're in a pretty small market. So when you only have 39 sales in a month, you look at the average sale price this month of March at $660,000 compared to $481 for March last year. That, on the surface sounds like prices have just climbed like crazy, and it's not true. If anything, pricing is quite flat. But in a small market, in a 1 month period, you can have 1 or 2 sales absolutely skew the data, and it just makes that data almost useless and not worth looking at. It's not telling you what's really happening on the ground. So one of the challenges we continue to see is just affordability. A lot of the buyers that are looking right now are looking to move here full time. There's a lot of younger, more first-time buyers or local families trying to upgrade, but honestly, the affordability factor, and most of them are not able to go to 750, 800,000 plus. And however, we have very few options that are under 700,000. And so that is a big factor right now, is there's a lot more pressure on single family homes, a lot more popular than condos or townhouses. But there's very few that are affordable and at price points that people are able to achieve. So there's a lot of pressure, for lack of a better term, at the lower end of the market, and very weak demand, quite slow for homes that are especially over, say, 1.1 million, very, very slow. And I would argue that prices are even flatter, if not dipping, at the higher price points. So last year, we saw a lot of waves of activity and periods that were busy and then slow. And we seem to be seeing that again this year. Near the end of February into early March, we saw a flurry of activity, and then the second half of March and so far into April, it is quite slow. But it is also a very uncertain world. There's a lot of craziness going on right now, and so some people are just kind of holding back, waiting to see what's going to happen. And I think that we could end up seeing a busy summer and fall. So we may see a slower spring, and that might shift into later in the year. But ultimately, a lot of people will do what they're going to do anyway, even if they pause and wait a bit. If people are thinking of moving here, or they're really thinking about buying a cabin, they only put that off for so long before they jump in and make that big decision. If you're looking for advice, or you want to know what's going on with the market, reach out to myself, and Team Taft is happy to help and give you an honest perspective. Thank you very much.